Every Trinity Sunday, a crowd of thousands swarms the cobblestone streets of Mons, Belgium, preparing for a high-stakes test of physical strength. This is the car door, a massive golden dray that the citizens must push up a steep, narrow hill. If the chariot loses its momentum and fails to reach the summit in a single attempt, local tradition holds that a curse will fall upon the city. History has a way of validating the fear. The cart stalled in 1803, in 1914, and again in 1940, each time immediately preceding the occupation of the city by invading armies. The figure inside the shrine is Saint Waldetrudis, a woman credited with a 14th century miracle that allegedly halted the Black Death. But Waldetrudis died 700 years before that plague ever reached Europe. She wasn't a martyr or a mystic, yet a modern city still spends its physical energy every year ensuring her carriage doesn't falter. Her story begins in the 7th century Frankish kingdom, inside the decadent and politically volatile court of King Dagobert I. Waldetrudis and her husband, Madelgarius, were wealthy nobles at the center of this power structure, navigating a world where survival often required moral compromise. They used their private estate to push back against the court's corruption, reallocating their inheritance to provide food and medical care for the local poor. Unlike the typical saintly archetype of the cloistered virgin, Waldetrudis was a mother of 4, balancing the demands of an aristocratic household with her charitable work. This domestic life was shattered by the death of her youngest son, Dentalin, who was only 7 years old. In the wake of this loss, Waldetrudis and her husband chose a radical path. In 656, they liquidated their remaining estate and entered separate monasteries to live out their lives in religious service. Her character was shaped by the courts, nurseries, and graveyards of the secular world long before she ever reached the monastery. Even as a nun, Waldetrudis rejected the comfort of her status. She refused the title of abbess, preferring to live as a simple, solitary servant. She spent her personal silver on a very specific form of charity, paying the literal ransom prices to free captives and the enslaved. Once they were free, she didn't conscript them into her service. She simply sent them back to their homes. Her reputation as a protector acted as a magnet for the vulnerable, drawing a constant stream of seekers to the forest where she lived. This settlement grew around her cell, organizing into the permanent civic grid that still defines Mons. Today, the massive collegiate church built in her honor stands at the city's center, a physical marker of where her first forest cell once stood. Her religious retreat provided the stability and new population needed to settle, turning her private sanctuary into the anchor of a major urban center. Waldetrudis died around 688, but her influence was only beginning. She was never canonized through a formal Vatican investigation. Instead, she became a saint through Vox Populi, the voice of the people. The people who granted her this status were the freed captives and the citizens she had helped to feed and organize. For centuries, an order of noblewomen maintained her legacy of service, preserving the social infrastructure she had initiated until the French Revolution. Every Trinity Sunday, the citizens of Mons returned to that cobblestone hill to take up the physical weight of her carriage once again. The devotion on the rampe is a physical echo of a loyalty earned 13 centuries ago, when a woman chose to respond to her own grief by building a home for the freed and the forgotten.
Like, share, and subscribe to Perpetual Help.